Hello everyone, my name is Ashish and you're watching another WebGuy YouTube channel, and in this video we'll learn how to navigate around the DOM. So without wasting any time, let's get started. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell icon so that you don't miss any of our videos. Let's first see the HTML structure we have. We have a body element, and inside the body element we have three divs. The first div is having an ID of header and the other two divs are having an ID of set1 and set2. And inside both of these divs we have a h3 element, one HR element and two paragraph elements. Both the paragraph elements have the ID of para1 and para2, and all the text are annotated here for easy reference. Now before we move further, let me explain you the concept of parent and children. For example, this P element, if we take this P element, this is inside the div having an ID of set1. So this is called the child of the div having the ID of set1, and this div is called the parent of this paragraph element. Similarly, this h3, hr and both these P elements are the children of this div having an ID of set1, and these four elements are siblings of each other because they are on the same level, they are not inside each other, so that's why they are called siblings of each other. Now let's move on to the script.js file. The first property we are going to learn is the parent node. The parent node does exactly what it says. So basically it selects the parent node. First let's create a variable, say para1, and we'll give it a value of document.querySelector, and we'll pass the para1 class. Now as you already know, this query selector will select the first element having the class of para1. So basically we are selecting this paragraph element here. So if we log on to the console, the parent node property of para1 variable, let's see what we get. Now as you can see that we have got the div having an ID of set1, because as I showed you that this paragraph has the parent of div having an ID of set1. Similar to the parent node, we also have parent element. So if we log on to the console, the parent element property of para1 variable, we should get the same thing. And you can see here we have got the exactly same thing. So the parent node property and the parent element property are essentially the same. But if you remember from the last video, I explained about the difference between node list and HTML collection. The node list was the collection of all the nodes, whereas the HTML collection was the collection of specific nodes that are elements. So similarly here, the parent node is returning the parent node of the element, whereas the parent element is returning the parent element. Now this will be more clear from the further examples. Let's do child node. So if we do console.log para1.child node. So here you can see on the console we have got the text node. So what is this? This is the text inside the para1 element. As I told you, everything on the DOM is a node. So this text is also a text node. So that's why it is returning the text, and it is returning a node list. So let's see the children property now. If I log on to the console, the children property of para1 variable, so here we are getting a empty HTML collection. Now as you can see that there are no elements inside this paragraph element. That's why it is returning a empty HTML collection. Let's see this through another example. First let's create a variable, say set1, and we'll set its value equal to document.querySelector, and we'll pass the value as an ID of set1. Now if we log on to the console, the child nodes property of this set1 variable, let's see what we get. So as you can see, we have got a node list. It contains the text as well as all the elements. So what are these texts? These texts are the empty spaces or the line breaks inside this div. So after this div, we have a line break, and then we have a h3, then we have a line break, then we have a hr. So suppose we remove the line break between the h3 and the hr element, and you can see that the text node between the h3 and hr element is now gone. Similarly, if we write another text here, now if we see in the console, this text here is the text node and these are the HTML elements. Now let's log on to the console, the children property of the set1 variable. And now you can see we have got a HTML collection of all the HTML elements inside the set1 variable, that is the div having an ID of set1. So I hope you have understood the difference between the child nodes property and the children property. The same difference is between the parent node and the parent element property also. But we cannot see that because the parent node and the parent element are returning exactly the same thing. That's why we are not able to see the difference here. Now the next property we are going to see is the first child. Now if we log on to the console, the first child property of set1 variable, let's see what we get. You can see that we have got this text node as the first child, because when we check in the index.html file, this text node is the first child of this div having the ID of set1. Now also we can do first element child. Let's log this onto the console. And here you can see we have got the h3 element because this is the first child element of the div having an ID of set1. Now we can do last child as well. This should return the last child node of the set1 variable. And again we have got the text node. This is the line break here. So if we remove this line break, we can see that we have got the p element as the last child. So basically it is returning the text node which is the last child of this div having an ID of set1. Now again here also we can do last element child. And if we log this onto the console, let's see what we get. And here you can see we have got the element which is the last child of this div having an ID of set1. Now similar to parent and child, we can also do sibling. So we have a property called next sibling. Let's log this onto the console. And you can see we have got a text node because there's a line break between these two divs. So that's why it has returned the text node. Now as you have guessed, we also have next element sibling. So if we do console.log set1.next element sibling, we'll get the next element which is the sibling of div having an ID of set1, that is the div having an ID of set2. So that was parent, child and siblings. Now let's see how we can add new elements to the DOM. So for that, let's see first how to create a new element. So first we'll create a variable, say new div, and we'll set its value equal to document dot create element, and let's create a div. So we'll pass the parameter as div. If we log this onto the console, We can see that we have created a new empty div. Now we can also add classes and IDs to this new div. So for that we can do new div dot class name, and we can set its value equal to, say, new div. We can also give it an ID. Let's give it ID of set3. And here you can see that the div has been updated and it has a class of new div and an ID of set3. Now let's see how we can add elements to this new div which we have created. For this, we'll create a new paragraph element using the create element method. So we'll write document.createElement and we'll pass the parameter as p. Now we can also add text to this p element. So let's add some text. We can use the text content property to add the text. Now we need to add this new para variable inside the div. For that we can use a method known as append child. We can write new div dot append child and we can pass the parameter as the new para. And you can see that the div is now having the paragraph element which we just created. Now right now we have just created the div element and added the paragraph element into it, but the div is not on the DOM. So we need to add this div onto the DOM. Let's see how we can do that. To add the elements to the DOM, we will use the append child method. So for that we need to first find the parent. Now if we want to add the new div which we have created at the end of this document, so we'll take the body element and we'll use the append child method to do it. So first create a new variable called body. Of course you can name it whatever you want, and we'll use document.querySelector to select the body element. Now we can do body.append child and we can pass the parameter as new div. And you can see that the div has been added to the DOM. We can also do various things with this new div, like we can add some styling. So let's add a border to it. Now if we don't want to add this div at the end, suppose we want to add this div somewhere in the between of the document. For example, if we want to add this div before the div having an ID of set2, so we can use another method called insert before. The insert before takes two parameters. The first parameter is the element which is to be added, and the second parameter is the element before which it is to be added. Let's first create a variable to hold our div having an ID of set2. Again we'll use the document.querySelector to select the div having an ID of set2. Now we can do body.insert before, and the first parameter is the div which is to be added, that is the new div, and the second parameter is the div or the element before which it is to be added, so that will be the set2 variable. Now you can see that the new div has been added before the div having an ID of set2. Now let's see how we can append the contents of any element. So let's declare a new variable and we'll set its value equal to document.createTextNode. And inside this we'll pass the value whatever text we want to add. Now we can use the append child method to add this new text into our paragraph element. So we can do new para dot append child, and we can pass the new text variable. And you can see that the paragraph has been appended and the appended text has been added at the end of it. Now there's another method. If you're just adding text, you can also use text content for it. So we can also write new para dot text content, and we can use plus equal to so that the string is added at the end, and we can pass whatever string we want to add. And you can see that the new text has been added at the end of it. Now if we want to remove any node from the DOM, we can simply use the remove method. So suppose we want to remove this new div which we have created. So we can use new div dot remove, and this will remove the new div from the DOM. Now note that the remove method works only for newer browsers. For older browsers, if you want to remove an element, you need to use the remove child method. So first let's comment this out. Now if you want to remove this new div by using the remove child method, we need to know its parent. It is inside the body element, so it is having a parent of body. So what we can do is, we have already declared the variable body here, so we can use body dot remove child, and we can pass the parameter as new div. And you can see that the new div has been removed. We can also replace HTML elements using the replace child method. The replace child method also takes two arguments. The first argument is the element which is to be added, and the second argument is the element which is to be replaced. So for example, if we want to replace this div having an ID of set2 with the div which we have newly created, then we can do body dot replace child, and the first parameter will be the new div, and the second parameter will be the div which we want to remove, that is the set2. So you can see that the div having an ID of set2 is now replaced by the new div. So now we can traverse the DOM, we can select parent and children, and we can also add new elements to the DOM. In the next video, we will see how we can add interactivity using the JavaScript. Thank you for watching the video. Please hit the like button if you learned something. If you are new here, consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.